Doozy. Look at my... Hey, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to the Men of Doozy podcast.
Yes, and if you're wondering what the hell is going on while you're watching, we'll get into that. But you're also probably thinking, what even does Men of Doozy mean?
Well, the word doozy means something that is extraordinary or outstanding of its kind, Kirk.
And we are not that.
But, oh boy, do we want to be all the time.
Oh, girl, that's right. So this is the podcast that we are going to give you all the tools that you need to become successful in life.
And the best part is, we're going to learn how to be successful while we also teach you how to be successful.
Makes sense to me.
I am the last airbender, Avatar. As you can see on my forehead.
And I'm simultaneously happy and sad.
Okay. Or you may know us as Alex and Kirk.
Alex Staub and Kirk Koz.
Well, what are we going to talk about today, Kirk? How to airbend?
Well, not quite,
Okay.
Mr. Airbender.
Okay.
But if you're watching, you can see that something's a little bit up.
Oh, yeah.
We've
got tattoos.
We've got tattoos. Yeah, I'm not sure if they were
They're
done
real.
correctly.
They're real tattoos.
100% real.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were done correctly. So the thing is, today we're going to learn how to get a tattoo.
Oh, baby. I need another one.
Yeah, if you got another one,
I've
what
got
would it
more
be?
surface area, I
got more bald room.
I got more real estate for a tattoo.
But guys, what's really exciting about this episode is that we have somebody who works in the industry.
A very special
guest. Somebody who is in the industry, knows what he's talking about, and he is a
great tattoo artist.
That's
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Kirk Oktavec. Chris Oktavec.
Chris Oktavec. Welcome, Chris.
Chris Oktavec, baby.
What's up, guys?
Woo! Welcome, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to the show.
Can I just say that we like the backdrop here? Did you draw that?
Say that again?
We like the backdrop.
We like the backdrop that you have, the background that you have. Did you draw that?
Yeah, thank you. It's my logo.
Nice.
Threw it up on Zoom. Figured I might as well, put it up.
Oh, we love it. So, first of all,
we love shameless self-promotion.
First of all,
if you're watching the video,
exactly. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you,
Tell us
man.
all about tattoos because, first of all, Kirk, let me ask: do you have any tattoos?
I do not have any tattoos, but I've always thought maybe at some point.
Right.
But I think there's other hesitations about it or connotations that people judge you differently. But I've always thought something might strike my fancy that I will get in the future. I feel like I might get one in the future, but I don't at the moment. What about you?
A simple no would have been. No, I do not have any tattoos. No.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted one. I just don't. I just know. Here's the thing. I know once I get my first one, it's just gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to stop.
You're gonna not stop
I'm not
talking
gonna,
about it.
Well, I'm just gonna keep getting more because I broke that threshold. But I don't have any tattoos, right?
But most importantly,
Chris, what about you? Tell us about. What tattoos you have. What was your first tattoo? How did you get in the industry?
Yeah.
So the first tattoo that I got, it was done on my rib cage. And then as far as how I got into the industry, I knew in the 8th grade that I wanted to be a tattoo artist when I drew my dad a design, and he eventually got that tattooed on his forearm. So I knew at that moment that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was more or less the struggle and push to get myself in the industry. Finally.
So, dude, I just want to say, it's so cool that you knew when you were in 8th grade, just by drawing something. Was that just something you did out of just wanting to draw this thing, and your dad was like, yo, you got a gift, or?
So I was always into drawing skulls and sketching on my homework and my tests that were going in and handing into school and stuff like that. But I drew a random skull, came home with it. My dad liked it enough to get it tattooed on his forearm. Obviously the artist who did it changed it a little bit, but it was the same design and everything like that.
Nice.
So tell us a little bit about the journey that.
Well, yeah, let me ask, have you always been good at just drawing, or have you, like, I mean, because I am horrible at drawing.
Same.
I'm like a stick figure nation, that's about it, and even then, it's horrible.
Yeah.
How are you, do you get good at drawing, and, like, do you practice, or do you, like, you know, like, it's like a self-taught thing, or we are always just naturally talented?
So it's two things. You definitely got to practice, and mainly self-taught. I love drawing. It took me to a whole nother world because I was bored in school all the time, so I was always sketching on my, on my sketchbook and on my homework and stuff, like I said. And it always intrigued me, creating things that were, this envision that I had in my mind that I could then copy down and put on paper. And when it came to taking art classes, I was given assignments and specific things to then do, which I didn't like. I didn't like being told what to draw or what to do and copying the same thing that everyone did with the same homework assignment. So it didn't make sense to me. So I stopped doing art classes, and then I just focused 100% on what I love to do and what I love to draw. And, it started building off of that. You start off with drawing one thing, and then you add on to it and you make it more defined, and you just get yourself into different styles. And right now I would say that there's not one specific style that I like to draw. There's different aspects that I like to go after, because I get very bored drawing one thing. So I try and push myself to do different things.
That's so cool.
Nice.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So like, as you got older, you realized you were good at this thing, and you didn't like being told how to draw, and so you kind of made it a habit and a hobby to like do this thing. But when did you find it transition from like a hobby to be like, I can make money out of this, and I want this to be my career? When did you make the transition that you were like, I know what I'm.
Well, yeah. When did you know you wanted to do tattoos instead of just like drawing?
Oh, well, I knew I wanted to do tattoos the second my dad got it. It was just a matter of how do I get myself to that point of getting in a shop, finding an apprenticeship, and, locking it down and being able to actually start tattooing, and then become good at it to where, people trust you to, stick a needle in them and do permanent artwork on them.
Chris, you're doing that right now, right? It's been a road of what, like 5 years?
I've been in the industry for 6 years. It's been a struggle to lock down an apprenticeship, which I finally have done that. I found an awesome mentor, a perfect shop to work out of. And yeah, it's paying off. All the blood, sweat, and tears are paying off.
Guys, the hard work pays off. Exactly.
That's right.
That's
Just
what,
don't do this. Don't do this. This did not pay off.
God, that's such a. I'm so glad that you said that. 'Cause, yeah, the hard work does pay off. It's constant work trying to get better.
Stick to what you know and what you love to do, and
That's right.
It can take time.
It will pay off. That's
amazing.
That's awesome.
That's a.
Well, I'm ready to get a
I
tattoo
am
right
so
now.
ready.
Want to jump into these tips?
Let's jump in, guys.
Okay.
These. So Chris provided us
Yes.
with 8 tips on how to get a tattoo. How am I going to decide how to get a tattoo?
Yeah.
And first up.
Well, I knew why I wanted the arrow. It's because I'm an airbender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I knew why I wanted the happy and the sad, because I'm an actor.
Yeah. Well.
And I'm sad.
Yeah. Exactly.
And happy? No, I'm
And,
kidding.
and I love my mom and my dad. So
And also, I am a man of something.
I'm a doozy.
I use YouTube. Anyways,
That's it.
let's jump in,
Perfect.
guys.
Let's jump in.
Top 8 tips.
All right, number 8, baby. Know what you want. Does not have to be meaningful, but have a good understanding, right? Know what you want for a design as far as the subject matter. An idea that you can present to a tattoo artist for them to follow, build off of. Right. Don't just walk in and be like, surprise me.
Yeah, or walk in and be like,
Yeah.
what do you have? What do you recommend?
What do you want? You pick. What's your favorite? Yeah. Know what you want. Make it make it special to you, right?
Chris, have you ever had an experience where somebody comes in so unprepared they don't even know what they want? or like have you witnessed somebody?
Not yet. Not yet, but if I did, I would just guide them in the right direction, try and, tell them to do a little bit more research and sit down and think about what they truly want. That's going to be on their body for the rest of their life.
Right.
Yeah, it's a big decision.
Have you had any one of those drunks?
It's a very big decision.
Anyone that's like come in last minute and they're like drunk and they're like, give me a puppy on my belly button or something like that?
Nope. And it's never going to happen.
Okay, fair enough. No, but yeah, know what you want because
it's so important because it's gonna be on your body.
Yeah.
Forever.
There have been many times where I thought I knew what I wanted as a tattoo, and then I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't get that. You know what I mean? Is there like something where is there like how do you really know what you want and like what to get?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. I think it first of all, it comes out of like what your characteristics are, what your beliefs are, and stuff like that, and what kind of like
your tattoos.
Say that again.
Like for you personally, how did you know you wanted your tattoos?
I don't know. One, I'm an artist, so anything cool that I like to look at, I kind of put it on my body, and I'm totally accepting of that factor. But I think it definitely comes down to what you love, what your beliefs are, what your characteristics are, and what you want to look at for the rest of your life and how you want to present yourself.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're doing a pretty good job.
We're doing a pretty good job.
Excellent job.
Guys, moving on. The 7th top tip is ask for recommendations from friends, family members, etc. Speak to people you know who have gotten tattoos and see what their thoughts are. Asking around is a great start to get the ball rolling as to what you're looking for. This makes total sense. I wouldn't just
get different perspectives.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll end up with this. If I went to my friends and was like, "Hey, is this a good idea?" They would all say no, and I didn't listen. So listen. Yeah, get recommendations from your friends if you're doing the right thing.
Well, I know the people closest to me that have tattoos. My twin brother has one, and then my dad does. So it's like I've seen them get these tattoos, and there's something meaningful, and I feel like so far they've done the thing that it's like, I think I know what I want.
Yeah.
There's probably so much more to it. But Chris, do you have personal experiences where you were inspired by a friend or a family member who had a tattoo that like further inspired you with your work or inspired you to like get a tattoo or?
Yeah. So the first few tattoos that I got were by the same artist that my dad went to for a few of his tattoos. So that's where I kind of like opened up to the idea of who I'm going to as far as an artist, what shop and stuff like that. Later on down the road, I met some incredible artists when I was down in Florida. And then, I drove down there and met them in person and got tattooed by them. My dad and I both got tattooed by him. So it was a really cool experience just to see someone who I idolize and then meet them in person and get to spend the whole day with them, honestly, talking about what we love, which is tattooing.
That's really cool. Do you ever, when you see your dad, is it like a competition? It's like, hey, Dad, I got another tattoo. What's your count? Oh, 10. I was like, oh, dang it, I'm at 8.
Who's got more tattoos?
I definitely have them at him kind.
You got him beat?
Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got him beat.
Amazing.
But it's not a competition. I think it's definitely something where I'm in the industry versus someone who's not. It's more or less like I said earlier, you see something that's really cool or an artist that draws up a piece and you want it tattooed because you think it's going to look amazing on you, then you just go for it. You dive right in.
Yeah, this makes sense. It's almost like involve other people that know what they're talking about.
Yeah, get perspective. Especially like if if you're with a lot of people that you're gonna see every day and you get something stupid like this, they're gonna be like, they're gonna make you feel weird for sure.
Yeah.
Be smart. Yeah, get perspective. All right, number 6. I'm feeling dumb about this.
No, dude. Are you serious? No, dude. It looks great.
I should have asked you guys if
I
this
should
was
have
gonna
asked
be
my
okay.
family. I should have asked.
Should have asked if this was gonna be okay.
I should have asked the
Yeah.
family, a professional, if this was even
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
Number 6, everyone. Ask your family. Do your research on shops, artists, styles, hourly rate, if any. Right? Always do your research. It's a good start to look at your local shops and to look at their art portfolio. Gather as much information about that shop artist as you can. From there, you can begin to weigh out your options as far as style and who suits you the best. No, so one thing when because I like looking at like really good tattoos and stuff, and I've always wanted one. And when I've done like the research on like shops and like I've seen like a lot of like tattoo guys on Instagram and stuff, there's like a lot of there's whole different styles and different like artists and whatnot. Every artist has like their own style, so like you really gotta do research on like what you want, because some guy you could be like you get the tattoo and then. Then if you did a little more research, the next shop probably would have been like you'd probably been like, oh, I like that style way more or something.
I think another thing with research, I think research is just great across the board. If you're going to do something that is going to be
like this
present in your life forever. I know I've walked around New York City in certain areas and I'm like,
why is everyone looking at me?
What? It's a great tattoo. Yeah. But like I've seen like tattoo parlors and I'm like, that looks a little shady. But I'm sure it also, like for you, Chris, I'm sure there's a way of researching the credibility and stuff of working in one too. Because I'm sure there's got to be some like sleazy, weird tattoo shop. Oh, look at that face. Look at that face. Can you speak more about that?
I do not want to get into that.
No, that's okay. But like, I knew it. There's sleazy stuff everywhere. What?
There's a reason why it's taken me a long time to find like where I set in like perfectly, and where I settle and where I work out of now. It's weird. It's difficult because when you want something so bad, you're willing to give anything for it. But it also comes down to, how you're treated, your overall health, and just the history of that shop in general.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, you don't want to go to some shop that has bad reputation and the
and
boss
sell your
sucks,
soul.
or like you're not. Yeah, especially when you're trying to, learn and become, a better artist in that industry.
Yeah.
You definitely want someone, you want a good reputable place to work at to like grow into, rather than like, some really sketchy places.
This is super helpful. Guys, if you're gonna have something on your body, if you're serious about
your
doing
homework,
this,
do your research.
your homework.
Not
like Chris, who
wish I
hated
would've-
homework. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I wish I
He
would
just
have done
drew
a little
all over
more
his homework.
research on this, but it's okay.
I think I'm ready to get
No, you are right.
Yeah. No, you made the smart choice though with that, so we're proud of you for that.
Yeah,
That's
you came out on top.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
And this came out on top too.
Of your head.
Of my head.
Okay, guys, moving on. We're in the top 5 tips. The 5th tip is plan ahead. Cost-wise, time, date. It is always a great idea to squirrel away some savings for a tattoo. Depending on the design, yes, some artists have a flat hourly rate. Some charge based off a specific piece or charge based off performance and overall quality of their work. And so you gotta, it's connected to research. It seems like you gotta plan ahead all these types
because
of decisions.
to get it to some tattoos, you'll sit there for like 12 hours, and
right?
like if you're like, oh, I'll just pop in and get a whole side piece right before I go to work. You don't got the time for that.
Yeah.
You don't got the time for that.
Also,
those pieces could be over $1,000. So if you walk in and you're like, do the whole side of my head, it should be 2 hours and $20. You're like,
Chris, what's the longest tattoo that you or a colleague has memory of? That somebody has come in to get? Like they planned ahead, they knew that this was going to be a multiple hour or day affair. Or like there's some that take multiple visits, right?
Oh yeah, depending on how big the piece is. I mean, you could either do like a few days in a row of getting tattooed, or typically how it works is you do it in different sections. You do the first sitting, second sitting, third sitting, depending on how big the piece is. But in between those sittings, you need, a good month and a half for it to fully heal. Then for the client to get back in there and do it again and keep at it and finish the product.
Because
you do like the outline of it first if it's really big, and then like you do like the shading and stuff of it, right? Is that the thing?
For the most part, yeah, that's pretty much how you go about doing it. But it also depends on the piece that you do, whether it's color realism or just black and gray, or photorealism. I mean, it all depends on how that artist works. Everyone's different. Everyone, has their own agenda of how they go about doing stuff and how they kind of, piece it together like a puzzle.
Right. What's the biggest piece you've worked on?
The biggest piece that I've worked on, one of my clients' forearms. We're going to be going into the third session coming up this week to finish it all off.
What is it?
Can't say, but it's a cool piece.
Okay. That's how you know it's cool.
Is it like this?
It's cooler than an arrow.
Cooler.
The more I shout this out, the less uncomfortable I feel. So,
yeah, guys, plan ahead. You're gonna do the research, plan ahead.
And a lot of good places too have like a wait list, right? So like, say you go and you're like, oh hey, I want to do this piece, I want a tattoo, and they'd be like, hit us up in 2 years, and you're like, what? They're just booked. A lot of like really big tattoo places are like booked like well in advance, right?
Yeah. A lot of famous artists are booked out a few years in advance. And what they do is, they'll do a consultation, take a deposit from you, and then see you in a couple of years or a couple of months, depending on how long the wait list is.
And by then, you don't even want the tattoo anymore.
You're like, maybe not.
Maybe the toilet seat on my butt cracked. It wasn't the smartest. Maybe 2 years ago, but yeah, I'm old now. Yeah.
I'm excited for this next step, dude.
Well, then read it.
Well, it's yours.
Oh. Consultation. Like we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Meet and greet, sit down, game plan. A consultation is the best way to get to know your future tattoo artist. It gives everyone the opportunity to sit down together and discuss the design in person so that there is no miscommunication. This gives the artist a chance to pick the client's brain about everything: style, placement, size, etc.
Yeah, this
There was clearly a big miscommunication was going on like this.
I said I wanted Mickey Mouse.
I said I wanted a little Mickey Mouse, and
then he was like, "Hey, have you watched Avatar: Last Airbender? And we binge all of the Netflix series. It was weird."
I said I want something that I want an arrow that points to my face.
I have a lot of mass up here. I want it to look like I have hair, but not.
Exactly.
Consultations.
Yeah, no, sit down. This guy is putting something on your body.
This
forever.
guy or girl, this male or female is gonna be like, it's just like so important. There's a trust.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably that you have to, and I'm sure, Chris, it's like that's the importance of not just coming in, because like the person who is having the art done, like it's like a relationship. You have to have a relationship because the artist is gonna be, you're a canvas for him.
Yeah, you also want to make sure there's no miscommunication where, they're like, all right, all done. And you're like, oh, no, I wanted a picture of my daughter. And he's like, oh, I thought you said donkey, right? Or something like that.
It's donkey from Shrek.
He said donkey. And then a whole different tattoo. Right, yeah.
It's just a donkey.
Oh, man.
Chris, do you have?
You also want, like, if I sat down and talked to my artist, I would want them to, like, because I can't draw, so I would obviously want them to understand.
First off, I can't draw. Is that okay?
First of all, I can't draw. But you also want them to understand, the tattoo that you want, right? And if you guys are on the same page, then it's like, all right, cool. And then if they do really well, then obviously that person will keep going back to the same artist, right? Like, do you have multiple? Of like you have like what's the word? The same people. You have like regulars. You know what I mean?
Or clients?
Yeah, I definitely have like a solid clientele that will keep coming back and getting tattooed by me for sure.
That's so awesome. Because
it is awesome. You eventually get to build a trust with a random person you have never met before, and then they keep coming back just because they love your artwork, they love the tattoo, the job that you did on them, and they continue to, get tattooed by you for the rest of their life.
Also, one thing that I found so cool is when you shout out on your Instagram a piece that you're working on or that you did, and I'm sure if they come back in, there is such a like pride to be like, yeah, that turned out really, really well. I created that, and that person hopefully
walking around showing it off,
yeah. And that's basically publicity for you. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's my portfolio walking around. So I need to make sure that it's perfect. It's got to be perfect. And same thing with the drawing before I go to tattoo it. If it's not to my liking, or if I don't think it's tattoo worthy, I got to redesign it and make sure that I'm open with my client and being like, listen, I need to fix a little bit. I need more time to, make sure that it's to my standards, and also obviously what you want as a tattoo.
That's so cool. I want to take a quick second and ask you about your process. Once you've consulted with somebody, what do? You said just now, like, you draw it first, right? Or
yeah. So typically what I'll do is depending on the area, I'll take measurements just to get a rough idea of how big the piece is going to be. So, I'm scaling it properly and stuff like that. But, I'll sit down, I'll do research on references depending on, what the tattoo is, depending on the design, the imagery of it. I'll do my research, gather up my facts, and then I'll throw it all together and create my own piece. And even then, like, I go through so many different versions of it. I don't just draw one and call it good. I try different things, like how would a certain item look over here, or maybe I should try shading over here, different colors or something. There's so many different variations that you can go through before you want to, just say one and done.
Right. It sounds like it's a real collaboration with the person getting the tattoo and the tattoo artist, because you're like, the person coming to get the tattoo probably has references that will help you, or you might find references that you bring to them to be like, I saw this. What do you think?
Absolutely.
About this? That's really cool, dude. That's cool. It seems like a cool collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. I'm ready. This one, I think, I love this. We're in the top 3 tips.
Woo!
Top 3, baby. We're getting to it. The third tip is know your pain tolerance. I think that we have forgot that there is a needle poking in your skin the entire time. Chris states that if this is your first tattoo, then you might not know what your pain tolerance is. Some people have a high pain tolerance and some do not. During your first tattoo, that tattoo artist will be checking up on you and asking how you are doing.
Not mine. I passed out. I blacked right out. I was like, whatever. I was like, can you get a thing? I want a tattoo of like a bartender. He's like, oh, I thought you said airbender. I was like,
and also, before you passed out, you were like, if I pass out, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah, Chris, what?
First of all, what does it feel like? Because I have no. What does it feel like? Getting a tattoo.
So there's different things that people have told me. People compare it to like a cat scratch repeatedly clawing at you, or a bee sting. For me, my comparison is one of those like shock toys where you push down on the button and it jolts you a little bit.
I hate all of those things.
Yeah, it varies for everyone. I don't know. It's a weird feeling.
Those shock toys hurt.
They do, because you're like, wah! Wah! They like jolt your whole
You're
body.
getting a tattoo.
It's
like a
not
little
like
butterfly.
that intense, but to me, it feels like that just because of the vibration of the machine and the needle hitting you and stuff like
Gotcha.
that. I don't know.
Is it like
It's weird.
Hurt?
What was that?
Does it hurt?
You should be able to withstand it. It should not be something so painful that you feel like you're getting, operated on or anything like that.
Now, Chris, I think this is something that people would love to know. There are certain parts of your body or your skin that are sensitive. What are those parts on your skin that are really sensitive, or some that are easy?
I would say the most sensitive areas are definitely ribs, feet, along the spine, your head, Staub.
That's why he passed out.
I was so drunk. I used the elements of air to cool myself down.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're basically humble bragging that you're a badass because your first tattoo was around your rib, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I wanted to just kind of compare it to the things that were going through
They
life
were like,
at that
where
moment
would you
in
like
time.
your first tattoo? My eyeballs. Okay.
It's a terrible decision.
Yeah. Where are the places? Of course, we're talking about pain tolerance, but in reference to like, where is the most popular place that people usually get tattoos? Like the average.
Chest, bicep, forearm, shoulder blade. Legs are starting to kind of make like a comeback, I guess. I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of people with leg tattoos. It's typically like the bicep.
Isn't like under here really sensitive too? Isn't like this is sensitive?
The back of the tricep?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. It all depends on your pain tolerance. I'd say definitely the inside of the bicep is super sensitive in there. Yeah, it all depends on your pain tolerance and also the artist, whether or not they know what they're doing and how they're deeping, if they're hitting the proper depth in the skin and stuff like that. Some people have heavy hands, some people have light hands, but it's all how you tattoo and your equipment too.
Yeah.
You are literally a fucking surgeon.
In
a weird way.
It's like
gotta know. You gotta
know those
where
specifics about the body.
Yeah, you gotta
skin.
go and that's an art form.
Yeah, so you gotta know where your sweet spot is, and that's between the dermis and epidermis, which are the first two layers of your skin.
What'd you call me?
So
What did you call
anything above that, it's not gonna settle, especially when it heals. But if you go too deep, you can also cause a blowout, which is not good.
Yeah.
Well, I could definitely feel it in my dermis.
God. So wow. This is. I hope that this is helpful for you guys watching and listening. Chris, before we move on to the second tip, if somebody came in and was like, you know what, I want to get a tattoo. I know exactly what it is. It's not too big. I just want to go to the place that I know it won't like hurt the most. Where would you like recommend? What part of the body?
Forearm or chest, bicep, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. Are you writing this down?
I don't know. It all
legs?
depends. It all depends on that person's pain tolerance and how the artist works.
Gotcha. We're learning.
So it's a huge. There's different variations and everything comes into play. I don't. It's hard. It's hard to just depict one spot where, honestly, the whole tattoo hurts in general. So.
Do you recommend getting like a small one first just to see what it's all about?
Depends on your perspective. I always say go big or go home.
Go for the airbender.
I always say go big or go home, but that all depends on your style and who you are as a person.
Definitely.
So I'm just gonna giant dragon on my back. First tattoo.
Dude, some people will sit down for their first tattoos and get full sleeves and full back pieces, and it's their first tattoo. It's crazy because it's their first tattoo, so they don't know what they're going into. They don't know what they're expecting, but they finish, and it's crazy. It's very weird.
That's so interesting.
Jesus.
Well, I'm ready for the next step.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go.
Let's keep moving on here. I want a tattoo. Another tattoo. Number 2, everybody. We're in the top 2.
Top 2.
Know the outcome of getting a tattoo. You need to know that a tattoo is a certain style of body modification and will permanently change your appearance. It is there forever and long after your lifetime. Tattoos hurt, and you need to have a great understanding of that aspect. Yeah. I'll just take one for like a little bit, and then, yeah.
There's got to be stories.
That's the main thing. That's the you're gonna be dead, and the tattoo's still rolling, baby.
Yeah.
Know how serious this tattoo is.
Yeah.
That's why I say don't get like your girlfriend's name on your neck and then just be like, hey, it's tattoo, baby. It's not.
There's a post-apocalyptic world where the only living jobs are tattoo artists, and they're like, we ran out of ideas. They're digging up this body, and it's Staub, and they're like, what the hell is this?
He's an
That
airbender.
was a bad choice.
It's real. Okay.
Okay, you know what? Just put the dirt back on him.
Yeah, realize that getting a tattoo is for life.
For life.
And that's why I think it's been so hard for me to, find an actual tattoo. Otherwise, I probably would have just been doing this shit. I swear to God.
Yeah, I totally feel the same way. I know that it's like, I know how important getting tattoos are for people.
You gotta really want it and know that it's there for life.
And I found
a lot of people can't make those types of decisions.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They don't even know what they want for dinner sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't even know what you want to eat for lunch. Yeah.
And Chris, I'm sure you've ran into people that have like a really deep meaning why they're getting something, and some who are just like, I want this, like, and they don't.
Exactly.
I've ran into and met some people with certain tattoos, and some have like a special meaning to it, and some were like, I don't know, I wanted it and I wanted it there. No, that's it. And that's I think that's another thing to keep in mind. It's like know why you're getting it too. You know?
Yeah. This one was when my father saved my life and died on a whitewater rafting trip. Oh, and this one is a lollipop. 'Cause I like lollipops. like that's always the case. That's always the case there.
Exactly.
My mother died when we were hiking with a mountain lion. Oh, and this one's because I like Twizzlers. That's
Chris, have you?
I always run into those people.
Have you found that? Of course, there is a.
Ooh, let me ask you this: what's your favorite tattoo? What's the most meaningful tattoo that you have on your body?
The most meaningful one would, I guess, be my whole chest that's dedicated to my dad and my mom.
Cool.
That took, a few different sittings, and they're all done by different artists and stuff like that. So I would definitely say that one. They've done everything for me, and they've supported me through this chaotic roller coaster ride without any safety belts. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Your next tattoo should be a safety belt.
No.
Over your stomach. Okay.
No.
All right. Think about it. It's for life. It's for life.
Chris, I think people listening might want to know, like, there is a weird. There's a portion of the population that has a negative connotation with tattoos and people wearing tattoos. I know, I know so many people who are like, my mom was like, no, why'd you do this? Is there something that you can say to people about
the positive side of it?
The positive side about it, or to say that, like, to quell their fears of being judged, because it's a personal decision.
Yeah. So, personally, your body is your temple, and you might as well, put, imagery of things that you love on it and represent and what you stand for. Churches have stained painted glass on them. They have paintings, beautiful paintings all over the place. And, you're here for one lifetime, so you might as well decorate it. Not only that, it's therapeutic. Tattoo is a form of therapy. It's not just causing pain. For me, I know that when I'm getting tattooed, that's my one moment where, I have to focus on not moving. It puts my mind into a place of Zen where I will fall asleep majority of the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you wake up, you feel very refreshed, or at least when I do, I feel super calm, feel like I just slept for a week. It's different for everyone, obviously, but it's kind of crazy. I encourage everyone to at least try and get a tattoo or, see that experiment. I also understand everyone else's like disapproval of it and stuff like that, but I'm not going to force that person or fight them on their argument.
Totally.
It's not about that.
Amen to that.
You brought up a great point about like just afterwards, which brings us to the final tip.
Number one,
The number one top tip.
We made it. And I was going to say, avatars have more than one life. So I'm going to live forever, baby.
And you get so
Same
many
tattoos.
tattoos.
Same tattoo. Same tattoo.
Unless you're killed in the avatar state.
That's right. That's right. Nah, that's okay. I would totally get killed in the avatar state. I would totally get killed in the avatar state. That's how I'd walk around.
Dude, you reincarnate. You go to get the tattoo, and they're like, "So what is it this time, Mr. Bender?" And you're like,
Mr. Bender?
Same. I'll have the same.
More arrows. And a safety belt.
Because I want to be held. Guys, the number one top tip, how to get a tattoo, is aftercare. Taking care of your tattoo is the most important thing for the healing process. You need to follow the instructions given to you by your artist. If you do not follow their instructions, it could seriously affect your health. Oh, I totally believe that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The amount of times I've seen people, I've seen different raps or it's specific.
Has there been a scenario that you've seen or even experienced yourself where you get a tattoo and the healing process kind of backfires and like messes the tattoo up or something like that?
So far, I haven't experienced that, but yeah, during the healing process, if the client's not taking care of it, it can definitely take a heavy effect on how it heals. If you're not cleaning it properly with antibacterial soap and then, putting the proper aftercare on it. One of the main things is don't go swimming after you get a new tattoo. A few years ago, a guy died in Texas because he went swimming after he got a fresh tattoo and got a flesh-eating bacterial disease, and he died. He did not listen to his tattoo artist, and there was a whole article that got blasted across the internet saying, listen to your tattoo artist. I could not imagine that feeling, being that tattoo artist, having one of your clients die because they did not listen to you.
Wow.
That is, I don't want to ever have to experience that. I sit down very thoroughly with each of my clients and explain them. And I tell them the story every time someone gets a tattoo. It doesn't matter if it's their first tattoo or their 10th tattoo. I let them know it's a serious thing. Like, it freaks us all out. We can't control what people do after they get their tattoo. We cannot babysit them. We can only give them the best advice, and hopefully they follow it. It's crazy.
That's awful.
And also, listen to your
Listen
tattoo
to your
artist.
tattoo
like,
artist.
What are you doing?
Chris, I feel like there's even more that you could tell people listening and watching about
So how long does it take for it to heal, do you think?
So everyone's a little bit different. For the majority of the part, it takes anywhere up to a month and then a couple weeks. You go through a bunch of different phases between the redness and swelling going down, and then that first layer of skin will start to like crust up and it'll peel off kind of like a sunburn. And then you'll see that new fresh skin coming through. It'll look a little glossy and shiny and stuff, but it takes anywhere about a month to a month and a half for a tattoo to fully heal. It's a little bit different than a scab, but it also depends on, who you are and what your overall health is.
In this tip, you mentioned certain aftercare things about certain lotions or different things. Are those things that, because I have no idea, are those things that a tattoo artist would recommend to go and get, or is there things that you as a tattoo artist say here's a little starter thing, or
Sell
like
in the shop? Do you sell
things in the shop for aftercare, or
Yeah, so certain shops do sell like aftercare and stuff. One of the main ones is Hustle Butter and stuff like that. We recommend coconut oil, just pure coconut oil, nothing, no other additives or ingredients and stuff. There's that Tattoo Goo stuff that works really well. There's H2O, tattoo aftercare. The old way of taking care of them, or at least when I was getting tattooed, was either Aquaphor or A&D ointment or even Vaseline. And I, later on learned that you shouldn't be using them because they're petroleum based. They'll clog your pores and you won't get enough oxygen flow for the tattoo to actually heal. So it'll kind of cause more problems during the healing process. So we don't recommend those stuff.
Yeah, and also, so like, how bad can you like mess up a tattoo? So like, would there be a situation where, like, say, I get like my mom's face right here, and then the aftercare isn't that good, and then all of a sudden her face is like all distorted, and the tattoo's ruined, and now I'm just stuck with that.
Well, so that also depends on who you go to fix that tattoo, whether or not their ability is up to par for the job. And as far as aftercare, nothing should be distorting or affecting the healing process of the tattoo. It's all pretty much application, and then honestly how you take care of it. If you get a fresh tattoo and then you're rolling around in dirt, it's probably not going to heal that well.
yeah.
So you need to be cautious of it. It's no different than having surgery done on your arm or leg and then taking care of yourself and following the instructions of keeping the cut clean and stuff like that.
Can I just say,
yeah.
I
Well,
have
those
learned
are the top
so
tips,
much.
everybody.
Those are the top tips on how to get a tattoo.
Honestly, I didn't know anything about tattooing, this is amazing, Chris. Thank you.
I've learned so much just about.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know, like you and Staub went to college, but I've known you for just like a little over half a year, and learning about this is such a cool thing. I actually feel a lot more at ease having gone through this to be okay with making the decision to get a tattoo. And these steps are actually very, very cool.
Yeah,
And
I feel more comfortable about doing like getting a real one.
if that thought comes into my head, I'm like, you know what? I think this is the time. I'm gonna follow these steps. And Chris, I'm giving you my word. When I get my tattoo, you're gonna be the guy. Okay?
I hope to tattoo both of you because I know when I was in college with Staub, we had planned on doing
Chris,
that.
Chris, if I come to you and say I want this, don't give it to me.
I'm gonna, advise you to just, pay attention to your career and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I'm moving to the mountains. I'm an airbender, okay? This is my life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, thank you so much. And Chris,
first of all, Chris, thanks for coming in and being on the show.
Thank you so much. This was so
anytime.
incredible.
Thank you guys for having me.
Do you
Chris-
do you have any final words about tattoos and how to get a tattoo?
Or yeah.
You gotta jump in.
Gotta jump in.
And-
Amazing.
but don't jump in the water after you just got a tattoo.
Exactly.
No. no.
Okay,
don't
just
do it.
clarifying that. Okay.
Chris, why don't you tell everybody listening and watching where they can find your work on the social medias and all
Yeah,
that stuff?
hit us. Plug all your stuff here.
Yeah, so my Instagram and Facebook feed is all on Octo Inc. OKTOINK. I am located out of Gunslinger Tattoo, Plymouth Main Street, New Hampshire. Contact me and let's get the ink flowing, baby.
Hey,
Let's get the ink
let's
flowing.
get the ink
also,
flowing.
also show us your sweatshirt here. Talk about the sweatshirt here.
Awesome
Hey.
sweatshirts on sale of his. It's so cool. And he's got some fire
We're
designs.
getting sweatshirts. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you
yes,
should
sir,
too.
Yes, sir. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Men of Doozy podcast.
Hey, you guys are the best. Did you get a tattoo yet? Are you gonna get a tattoo? I'm gonna get a tattoo. Just be smart, okay?
Be smart about
Be
it.
smart.
And
okay?
guys-
we got Alex and Kirk here.
We got Men
Exactly.
of Doozy.
Exactly. First of all, follow us on
YouTube, subscribe.
Okay, yeah, Spotify.
We're also on Apple Podcasts.
We're at Spotify. We got Instagram. Okay.
Yep.
We got Instagram. Am I pointing to the right ones?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, great. All right, great. Instagram, Spotify.
YouTube,
Boom.
Apple Podcasts.
That's right.
And guys, if you have a tip that of something that you want to learn, let us know let
know.
us teach you while we also learn about it.
That makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too. Guys,
We'll see you at the tattoo shop.
keep that ink flowing, baby.
Keep that ink flowing, baby.
Whoop whoop.